Night of the Living podcast is always ad-free for patrons at patreon.com/NOTLP.
Oh boy, howdy. This is a special one.
Yes.
For you. Special.
Do you feel special?
Since it's October, you should get a little something extra treat.
Hell yeah. You got to cram all the spooky goodness you can.
We're like binging it. We're like doing the most hardcore binging of horror related media of my entire life this month.
I may have to quit the show after.
It's a lot. But I'm Freddy. Amy's here.
Heck yeah.
Kelley and Andy are not here this evening. We have a special guest with us, Jason Stein from Dads from the Crypt. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me on the historic Night Living podcast.
Appreciate that.
That's about all we got going for us. But it's kind of nice.
We're the old men of the... But what we're doing tonight is really fun.
Yes.
We wanted to do something together because I was on Dads from the Crypt and we talked about Until the Dawn? Is that the name of that one?
Yeah. Until the Dawn.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, Comes the Dawn.
Or Comes the Dawn. Comes the Dawn. Which is a later season Tales from the Crypt. And I was trying to figure out a good way to kind of have Jason on and introduce you guys to him, because if you like our show, I'm sure you're going to like their show. It's all Tales from the Crypt. You guys do some like one-offs I noticed that are different topics, right?
Yeah, well, what's happening is that we're like in the last half of the last season of Tales from the Crypt. So we've been going through and reviewing every episode of Tales from the Crypt, and we've done the movies. Mm-hmm. But we're like, I'm trying to stretch out the watch a little bit. So every week we've been doing an anthology movie. So we did like Creep Show, Body Bags, Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. So yeah, and of course there's some new movies coming out. So we did Saw X, and we're going to do Exorcist the Believer. But there's also some new.
Real quick, so Saw X, yay or nay? I'm hearing yays.
I loved it.
Really? Okay.
I thought it's probably one of the best ones.
Wow, all right.
It's my third favorite of the Saws.
Okay, we gotta go see that.
And I could switch. I totally recommend seeing it.
Yeah.
It's a good watch.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Much better than the Exorcist movie.
Oh, that's what I'm hearing too. Oh,
not to divert. But I have feelings about that I can give off air.
Yeah, I'm sorry with this is shit. And
I'm still kind of excited.
There have been some really good anthology movies. I'm really into plugging Satanic Hispanics.
Oh yeah,
a recent one done by entire Latino cast and crew, directors, most of the actors. And there's some really funny. I was laughing really hard at some of them. So I highly recommend that. The new VHS 85 just came out. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard really good things. I'm going to watch it probably tomorrow.
That snuck up on me.
Yeah, I like the VHS series a lot. Some are better than others, but there's always some solid ones in there.
Yeah, on the whole,
there's always something that's worth your time.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I like that they keep pumping them out. You know what? I love that it is it's an anthology franchise.
Yeah.
Has such a thing. Well, no, okay. Creep Show 2.
Well, I mean, 2 movies plus a third,
not a franchise.
Like a disowned movie.
Right.
So VHS is the first anthology franchise?
Yeah,
I'm probably screwing that up somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm screwing it up somewhere. We're just going to say it is for now.
It sounds true. It sounds true.
I endorse that message, sure.
I'll just say it with authority. And therefore, it's fine.
So, speaking of anthologies, of course, Tales from the Crypt, the king of the 90s, I would say anthology television in general, horror in particular, but really it was the name in the game, as far as I'm concerned.
It was subversive. It was naughty. It was dirty.
And basically what they did was they took all the talent from all the other horror anthology and kind of distilled it down. So they took like for the best of Freddy's Nightmares, best of Tales from the Dark Side, Twilight Zone, all those other ones that came before it, and they brought in like the A-Team.
Yeah.
And then they had the iconic EC Comics, and you have the iconic Crypt Keeper character and performance by John Gauthier. So that's the thing. That's the secret sauce to Tales from the Crypt. Even if the episode proper isn't the best, You have a great opening from the Crypt Keeper, which always hits. And then you have the little outro from the Crypt Keeper. So like, yeah, if it wasn't the banger, you still come out with a smile on your face.
You're still like, oh, I see what you tried. You tried.
Mm-hmm. Right. And there's sometimes I love
The puns. The puns.
and the tropes. There are tropes within, not just within horror, but within Tales from the Crypt itself. There are tropes that are Tales from the Crypt tropes, like, you know, the thing from the grave. I love that someone is always a big asshole. That's a requirement. You can't have a Tales from the Crypt episode without at least one giant
monstrous
asshole. Right.
Right. And again, it's all due to the EC comics, you know, from the 50s and the 40s that they're all pulling from. So that was like the mandate that each episode had at least have the title. Most of them have like, some are more loose than others, but at least like for the first couple seasons are very close to the EC comics that they're based off of.
Yeah, and so we picked 10 episodes in the methodology. Sorry, I try to use a word I don't use. I don't use that word very often.
You did great.
Thanks.
It's a $5 word.
It really is. But the methodology was to go to IMDb and pick from the listings of all the seasons.
What the masses said.
Yeah, what the average star rating on IMDb was, and the list of 10 that came out of that were in no particular order: Cutting Cards, The Ventriloquist's Dummy, Television Terror, Abracadaver, Yellow, What's Cooking, The New Arrival, Death of Some Salesman, Forever Ambergris, and All Through the House. And that's all 10 there. So
yeah. And that's a good list. I mean, I'm looking at.
I'm surprised that isn't there though. But
so we did an episode where me, Mondo, and Jody, my 3 co-hosts, made our own top 10 lists, and we kind of like. And then I kind of compiled and weighted everything. And I'm looking at it right now, and I think it is almost the same, almost the exact same list.
Wow,
like different order, obviously, but just okay. A couple things are a little bit slotted differently, but overall.
Yeah,
and these are not in order. This list is in. I was reading the list, except for the last one and All Through the House.
Reading list.
They were the chronological order, and by release date. So, like, except for and All Through the House, because I read that last, but that was the first one that was released.
Right.
So, that's wild to me. Well, first off, I thought I remembered every episode of the show. I always feel this way every time I revisit Tales from the Crypt. But then these played so damn fresh to me this time because there was just a lot of details, especially when we got past.
It's the later seasons that are less familiar to me.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Because I would say like the entire first season would be my entire list, right? William Sadler and who am I thinking of? Who's the guy?
The man whose death.
Yes.
The executioner. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then and then the one where the guy had the cat lives, 9 lives. Who was in that?
Joey Pants.
Joey Pants.
Yeah.
And I would have just started listing all. This is all like first season, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, I think might be the last season or two I might never have seen.
Yeah, you're not, especially the last season, you're not missing a ton.
Yeah.
There's a couple okay ones, but I mean, think of it this way though. The 2 that you just mentioned, the one with Joey Pants and William Sadler, and then All Through the House were the first 3 episodes, and they all premiered on the same night.
Oh, okay.
That's
imagine sitting there watching these.
That would be freaking crazy quality, man.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Yeah, it makes its own movie.
Yeah.
So the whole story is that they screened all 3 of these for like a bunch of executives and producers and everything, and they're also blown away. And someone says that like, that's not TV. And someone behind them says it's HBO.
Oh my God.
And that's where the line came from. It was a spontaneous like call and response in the middle of like a screening of Tales from the Crypt.
It's still, I still roll my eyes, but it's
funny. I love that. I love all the jokes that came out of that.
But honestly, HBO is fucking iconic. So whatever.
True.
Mm-hmm.
How dare they call it Max?
I know. I hate that so much.
It is lame.
But like Tales from the Crypt is. Whatever happened to they were going to reboot it, right?
It's still happening.
So
did the coronavirus kill it?
Okay. So let's just get out of the way right now. I'm just a huge geek and dork or whatever for all of this, so I know way too much knowledge.
No, this is good because I need it.
What happened is that so you have the rights to EC Comics, then you have the rights to the HBO show, and then you have the rights to the Crypt Keeper as it is in HBO land.
Wow.
And you have the rights to the Crypt Keeper as it is in EC Comics land. So you have all these different components of what made the HBO show great, but they're all kind of owned artistically, copyright, by different people. So in like 2016, I think it was TBS or TNT announced that they were going to do a reboot with M. Night Shyamalan because they had bought the rights to the stories, but they did not have the rights to the Crypt Keeper, the HBO version of the Crypt Keeper.
Like, who wants it without him?
Exactly. So no one's going to watch like a knockoff Tales from the Crypt.
No.
And once they realized that, I think they were duped into it,
Damn.
to paying for those rights. And once they realized they didn't have that key piece of it, then they got nothing.
They just cut their losses, huh?
Damn.
And that's why, and that's why you can't find the show on streaming, on Max, anywhere. Well, I mean, you go to YouTube, you can find some stuff, but
there's have you seen the fans who did the project of restoring all the episodes in 4K?
Mm-hmm.
It looks great.
Who are you talking to, Freddy?
I mean, I figured you had, but the listener might not have. So, like, there's this group that, and if you just look up like Tales from the Crypt 4K, you'll find these.
I mean, but it's not legal or anything.
But it's beautiful, and it's a labor of love. They did a really good job. They did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
They look good.
Yeah, we've had them on our podcast a couple times.
Oh, really? Tell them they did a wonderful job.
I will. But like, you can't even legally buy anything with the HBO Crypt Keeper on it. Not, if you go to the convention, you see some of the Crypt Keeper on it, it's not officially licensed. There was it Spirit Halloween or whatever? Did like this year came out with like a Crypt Watcher or like Crypt Person that looked like the Crypt Keeper. That was based off of the one that they did like in the 90s for like Spencer's or whatever.
Right.
But again, it didn't have. They dubbed over John Cassier.
Oh, well then it's not gonna work.
So like, I said that's not it. That has no soul. That has nothing. That's a fake product.
I did visit a wax museum in Canada that had a Crypt Keeper, and I think they were using John Cassier's voice. I highly doubt any of that was copacetic, but it's like a wax museum on the Strip in Niagara Falls.
I think it's somewhere in LA. There's like some wax museum that has something like that. Yeah. So I'm sure maybe at one point they had the license and no one's got it. But it just boggles my mind that these egos are so big. Yeah. That they can't. There's money on the table. There's a huge amount of money on the table there. Like imagine like a NECA Crypt Keeper.
Yeah.
That would sell like gangbusters.
Yeah.
But they just can't get over themselves to make them get people paid.
I think it would be an amazing addition to our current peak television, and get on it.
Oh, I would love it. I would love just to return to form of. I get wanting maybe to update the cinematic language of it, but I would love to have at least the John Cassier Crypt Keeper.
Judging from the later seasons and the puns in the beginning and end, maybe they ran out. I don't know.
I mean, no. I mean, there's been like this is pre-internet. So imagine Crypt Keeper on Twitter.
Oh my God, he's gonna have so many Elon Musk jokes.
Yeah,
I love it. All right. How do you want to do this?
Well, and All Through the House is the first. We're going through chronologically.
We didn't even rewatch it because I've seen it so many.
This
times.
one, I'd seen so many times.
Unless I confuse it with the movie.
Well, yeah, it's interesting because the old movie from the '60s, plays this same story out with Joan Collins, right?
With a less charismatic killer.
Yeah. It's a great episode. It's a classic episode. Larry Hagman.
Not Larry Hagman.
I did the same thing the other night. Yeah. Larry Drake. I said Larry Hagman the other night when I met Larry Drake.
Who shot JR?
These are words you only hear in middle-aged conversations.
This is what people in their 40s talking about, okay? Sorry, Gen Z. It's Christmas time and there's a murderer, but it's okay because the victim lady, she's not cool. She's not nice. She's a murderer herself.
You got to love the twist. That's the asshole.
Yeah.
There's always an asshole.
So and the killer isn't the asshole?
No, in this episode, the killer is really just the hand of God. Come down to punish the lady from I want to say Goonies mom.
He's Santa.
Yeah,
And he's
Santa.
dressed like Santa. It's like funny, but it's like scary.
It's legit scary, especially that the little girl lets him in. They were really good at the 1-2 rope-a-dope twist at the end. You know, no, you did the exact opposite of what is required.
Well, and let's not bury the lead in this. This is Robert Zemeckis,
Right.
Back to the Future Robert Zemeckis directing, and actually the wife is played in the episode is played by his real life wife.
Oh, I wonder how she got that role. She was really good.
She threatened to murder him.
No,
She could be a
was
Nepo
so
baby.
great.
It's fine.
So again, you're not used to having that caliber of director on the quote TV show.
That's not in the 90s for sure.
Yeah.
There were probably a lot of people like, what the hell are you doing? And now, all the people are on the television and the movies,
Well, the TV is. I think this was the beginning
TV is the
of
better
that.
medium, in my opinion, for most stories. What were we talking about?
TV versus
Zemeckis.
films and Zemeckis directing for TV. Like this is the beginning of that era of when TV became indistinguishable from movies. And and it's exactly what you're talking
would start
about
on
with them
HBO.
bringing these people to HBO to make these shows. And so you had like power. These are the powerhouses. If you didn't grow up in that era, but you're talking Zemeckis, Richard Donner. These is the people these are like that's Superman, Back to the Future, Goonies.
Walter Hill
from brought us the Warriors, right? 48 Hours. Like you have this like deep bench. It's a lot like the last time in television I think something like that probably happened prior to this would have been like the Twilight Zone, but those weren't known writers and directors yet. They were cutting their teeth there, but the level of talent that it was brought to bear is like Twilight Zone, Alfred Hitchcock Presents type A-list.
Right. I mean, this is essentially a riff on, Silent Night, Deadly Night. Not like directly, but like imagine Robert Zemeckis directing Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Imagine him watching it. I don't know. Did he? I don't know.
Killer Santa Clauses. It was a controversial thing to do. I think by the time I think some of that hurt had worn off amongst the Moms Against Evil Santa Clauses organizations. So people, when this episode came out, it wasn't as big a deal as like Silent Night, Deadly Night.
The Santa Claus Satanic Panic had died down.
It had died down a little bit. So, but it was still pretty upsetting to combine, especially
So
to
punk
combine,
rock, man.
Larry Drake, who most people knew as a lovable character on LA Law.
He won an Emmy.
Yeah.
Emmy-winning actor playing a deranged Santa Claus, directed by Robert Zemeckis. Like you couldn't make that up. It's so perfect.
It really is, and
It's really cool.
That combination is so good. And there is a lot of people who like the crossover on Tales from the Crypt. Obviously, a lot of it is comedy, but there are like again when you get deeper in the season, you see like kind of the deep bench of comedic actors that were willing to go and work on the show, and I think that's like a testament to how dedicated to just having fun they were. So they had people, when you get
and
to
you could work with
ventriloquist
Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. When the show started, it was like all these major directors calling in favors.
Yeah.
But then once the show became a hit, everyone wanted to be on it because you only had to show up to work for like 3-4 days, depending on how big your role was. Because they're all filmed like in less than a week. So usually they prep for 1 week and then they shot for another week. So like it was kind of a rotating thing where each episode was prepping what the other one was shooting, and then in every episode everyone only had like certain amount those exact same amount of days per episode. There's one exception that we'll talk about later, but yeah, it's they kind of made like a factory for these, but when it became hip, and this is how you were seen.
And most of them were like most of them were like 20 to 24 minutes, right? In that area.
Yeah, 20, 25, maybe 26, except for Yellow, which again there's a whole thing we'll talk about.
So that was something that as a kid watching these, or a preteen, whatever I want to call me, dirtbag. We'll just say as a dirtbag, young dirtbag,
dirtbag.
Yeah, as
teenage dirtbag.
A young teenage dirtbag watching these, they loomed much larger in my memory as far as runtime than when revisiting them now. It is like they are over before you realize you're into it. So it is kind of like this great bite of TV too, where it never wears out its welcome. So even the bad ones fly by.
Yeah, that was again, and you have the Crypt Keeper always there at the end. So
yeah, to clean up, to commiserate with you, and sometimes you can kind of tell he's almost like a horror host in that he is sometimes winking at maybe the quality of the episode with some of the things he says. It almost feels coded sometimes.
Maybe
it's near the end of the series.
He's kind of your aftercare therapist,
right? Exactly.
He's like, let's talk about what we just watched. All right.
So then we moved on to cutting cards, which seems straight out of the comic too. That one is pretty faithful. Do you want to speak to that, Jason? Since you're the guest, I didn't want to.
Oh, sure. So we got two guys, Lance Henriksen and Kevin Feige, which again, two iconic character actors.
Yeah.
And of course, I love anytime we have a gambler named Reno or Vegas or something like that, they're down. So basically, there's two guys, and they hate each other's guts.
Yep.
And they meet up in a casino, and they're trying to gamble each other away to see who has to be run out of town, basically. They keep either flip flopping wins or coming out, even. Mm-hmm. And they just get so pissed that they end up going into their car into the parking lot, grab a gun, and decide to play Russian roulette in the parking lot.
It was tense.
It was.
So tense.
It was hilarious, but tense.
This feels like a really early, because if you think about the comic version of this was in the 50s, this story was released. It's a really great critique of toxic masculinity.
Before they even knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they were doing it.
I think unintentionally, maybe on some level intentional, but at least put in such a macho way.
Yeah.
Right.
That you're kind of you don't know whether to cheer them on or laugh at them.
Right.
And there's a great moment where someone pulls up to see what the hell's going on, and they kind of defend each other.
Yeah. They're like, hey, leave him alone. Because I think in the end they need each other or they'll just die. But they just do that anyway.
It's right.
So they try to play Russian roulette, and at the very end, it turns out the gun was dysfunctional or whatever. So they decide to take it to the next level. I forget what they call it in the episode. Basically, they play a special kind of card game where
chop poker.
Chop poker, that was it. They lose a limb instead of money.
Yeah.
And then you have this great final shot where they're both sitting there with all their limbs gone, basically quadriplegics, playing
Still
checkers
going,
with their
man.
noses. Still going at
it. Kevin Feige, I don't know how to pronounce that. Feige?
Yeah.
Great character actor. Love that guy. Love him in everything he does. I just want to wax on glowingly about Lance Henriksen just because I love the man. And I don't think he gets enough credit outside of our community for being damn good.
He's a great actor.
He's fucking awesome. I just wanted to say that.
Also, he was let himself chew the scenery, and you can see this is if you're talking about range and people talk about range, this is like the wacky end of Lance Henriksen's range, where he is really going for laughs and he's nailing it 100% of the time. And they play off each other beautifully. I love.
They have good chemistry.
How red, what's his name again? Kevin Feige gets, and how he just shows pain and agony, but also the desperation, slobbering desperation on his face, and it's so great. They just chew up the scenery like crazy, and it's so comic booky, which is exactly what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is another Walter Hill episode, so you're in good hands.
Yeah, it's just a good time. I think for me, this third one on the list. Oh, I want to mention one thing about cutting cards before we move on. The score is kind of hilarious that they have digitized kazoos and stuff playing it, and it is really something that nobody does that sort of juxtaposition in horror anymore. It's always there's just something about the blatantly fake fourth or fifth string instrument that people wouldn't even use as a primary instrument, but you're I'm going to use that as the main thing.
all French horns and kazoos.
Yeah, and it fits though. It's part of it. Like, and it's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that it's perfect for what it is because you feel like you're going to the carnival every time you watch an episode. You know, until it gets to England.
It's the vibe.
Yeah, the vibe is so carnival, and especially when you get to this next one, the ventriloquist dummy. Which and Jason, you know so much about these.
I'm just
gonna follow your lead on these.
So we have a comic played by John Rickles, who's like, you know, the old the star, the like he's been around forever.
Yeah.
It's great ventriloquist gig that he does, and the guy, you know, it's kind of like the smart alecky ventriloquist, the kind of the what's the word? Kind
Wise
of like
crack and insult comic. Yeah. He's the crusty old guy doing this.
Yeah, so
kind of hates the audience a little.
Mm-hmm. Then we have the new young pup played by Bobcat Goldthwait, who wants to learn from the master, and he's kind of trying to convince him to show him how his tricks and everything. And Don Rickles wants nothing to do with it. And then he discovers that the ventriloquist dummy isn't really a dummy. It's actually Don Rickles' conjoined sibling.
Something like that.
Something like this. So he's got this crazy, like...
He's got this being on his hand where his hand should be, but it's his brother.
I love that in the case when he's trying to convince Don Rickles' character, because Bobcat's like, you're just not well. Here, I'm going to help you. I'm going to show you this isn't... He's not in control. He's just a dummy. And he takes it out, and it's just the body that he had been... Don Rickles had been slipping over his arm, and this Hannibal Lecter-like mask...
Because of course it's a murdering symbiote.
It hates women.
What is that? Okay, we have this episode. We have Basket Case, the movie, and then you have that episode of the X-Files where Vincent Schiavo had his twin that would leave and murder the freaks in the freak show.
Yeah, we don't know what Quado was up to.
We don't know what Quado was up to.
Yeah, what would Quado do?
Murder, I guess. It's seeming that that's what society is. We've determined is that somewhat conjoined twins. If they can, they will murder.
So that's what we've learned from television.
Don Rickles is, an icon.
So good,
absolutely.
Fucking Bobcat is an icon.
Yeah.
How awesome this show brought them together.
Well, and again, directed by Richard Donner.
I mean,
yeah,
crazy to me.
You get it all. That plus,
you get this cool.
I was just going to say the cool effects.
You get the cool like animation. I don't know if it's animation. I don't even know what it was, animatronic or whatever.
Yeah,
it's real, Jason.
And also, there's a big discussion actually. Who does the voice? I've talked to a couple different people. No one's confirmed definitively.
I think it's Don Rickles.
It sounded like Don Rickles to me, but yeah, I guess it could go.
But some people think it says it's Bobcat. Some people aren't sure. It's kind of a thing.
It's both
interesting.
Ooh, when you could see his fingers sticking out when they sewed him on his hand.
Yeah. So in the end, they have the symbiote, or I don't know what we call it. It attaches to Bobcat's hand. Ugh.
That was gnarly. I liked it.
Yeah. So what's interesting is, so in the comic, you only see that hand thing. I don't know what we call it, but we only see it like in the last frame of the comic. That's like the shock ending. Is that he realizes that's what's going on. But here you get like a whole like murder chase sequence.
It's a brilliant one too.
Give you more.
When Don Rickles finally decides to separate, he's splitting up the act, is how he puts it, with a meat cleaver. And Bobcat gets a hold of Morty and he puts him in the meat grinder. And I just love it when Morty's like, not the meat grinder. And then,
that's a good voice.
And Bobcat's like, I'm making an asshole casserole and you're the main ingredient.
Oh my God.
That shit, that was the moment when I first watched this series where I'm like, this show was made for me. Specifically, I am so thrilled. It hit that perfect level of grotesque that kids...
And juvenile that you needed.
Yes, that kids who grew up on Garbage Pail Kids needed. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, can we talk about Don Rickles in the 90s? Like between this and like Casino, he was like...
He was having
going hardcore.
A second heyday or something.
Sounds like the meat tough guy.
Like he's supposed to be like just one of the most viciously insulting comics. Like That's what everybody says. Well, you just look so nice.
Well loved.
Yeah, well loved for being mean.
I think if you insult everyone that you see
True.
all of the time, you never insult anyone at all.
Oh, I should have started life that way. I screwed up.
Then everybody's like, no, it's just their disorder. They have Don Rickles syndrome.
They hate everyone equally.
My grandmother had that, but nobody loved her for it.
That's what New Jersey does.
That's what New Jersey does. Okay.
Television Terror was up next.
Oh, I love this one.
I do too. This was the era of trash TV to begin with when Tales from the Crypt was on the air. For young people out there that don't know, Morton Downey Jr., who is the star of this episode, was a late night talk show host, I think prior to Jerry Springer. At least he was doing he was doing at least the trashy segments before Jerry Springer, if I remember right.
And he was like smoking on air. Was that
chain smoked?
Yeah.
Cigarettes were a big part of the production, like there was always a
and
big
he's
bowl
not
of cigarettes.
related to Robert Downey Jr.
Not related to Robert Downey Jr. Just because, phonetically on his cousin's side.
It's the joke I make every time, and you laugh at me and act like I'm an idiot.
No, it's
but
hilarious.
I am deliberately making the joke now.
I know that.
I just want everybody to know that.
They're completely different names.
All right, fine.
I sure hope everybody knows you're joking. Morton Downey Jr. and Robert Downey Jr. Now I have totally lost the meaning of all four
but it's
words.
like a little bit. You could think it.
It is.
Right? Chase, come on, back me up. Okay, fine. It's fine.
They married a junior and your mom married a junior. Okay.
Oh, God.
It's complex.
Does your name become junior if you marry a junior?
And then, no, you become a quarter.
And you hyphenate it.
Or
Oh.
you're just disowned.
So this is post Ghost Watch. Where
that's why I love this, I think, because it gave me Ghost Watch.
Yeah, Ghost Watch is awesome.
I love that. This is a great episode, but yeah, again, Jason, you're the professional on these
Freddie's
topics.
just gonna keep leaning on you.
You're my expert.
Fine.
You're my expert.
The checks in the mail.
So yeah, we have Morton Downey Jr. as a sleazy TV reporter. He's going to a supposedly haunted house to do live reporting and everything. And turns out it's actually really haunted, and spooky shit happens.
Mm-hmm. And he was just not prepared for that. It was emotionally.
It was that pension check lady.
Yeah, and there's a great interplay between him and his cameraman in the house, and then the TV station van that's outside the house, and they think that's all made up and everything. And it's probably one of the scariest episodes.
I think so.
It's legitimately creepy. There's one other that I think is scarier, but this is probably right next to it.
It has those found footage vibes.
Yeah, it's very found footage.
So that's just gonna get me. I'm just that kind of sucker. So I'm already primed for it. And yeah, they do a really good job of revealing the haunting and everything, and how everybody's reacting around.
We didn't, I mentioned Ghost Watch before, but we didn't get Ghost Watch in our lives here because we're in the U.S. until we were adults.
Yeah.
So this was when this aired, it was the first time I'd ever seen something like it. And I was young enough to kind of be the way it was presented was kind of a convincing dupe. Duped.
And then of course, the ratings come in. The producers egging him on to go further. He's like, "No, get me out of here." They're like, "No, it's good. It's good."
No, just let the ghost, murder you. It's fine. We're getting great ratings.
It's Emmy sweeps.
It's sweeps.
Yeah. Sweeps.
Do they still even care about sweeps? I wonder.
It was like if Network were made into a horror movie.
Right.
Right. Exactly. Oh, well, depending which way you look at it, but it is.
There's not a ton to say about this one other than it's spooky. It's great. Mm-hmm. Go watch it.
It's very straightforward, but very, very good.
And it feels ripped from the headlines with the pension checks being stolen from the drifters because that was a real thing that happened. The lady who killed all those transients.
It was boarding house and shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What was her name?
I can't remember, but she killed a lot of men.
Belle Gunnis?
Yeah, Gunnis.
Belle Gunnis.
Yeah. Good memory, Amy.
Who directed this one?
I don't remember.
Charlie Piercini, who's mostly known as a stuntman.
Interesting. Well,
but it's a very well done episode.
Yeah. It had to be creative. There wasn't there was a ton of found footage stuff for it to be they would just what were they riffing on? Like Geraldo opening up Al Capone's vault or something?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Yeah,
Definitely.
Okay.
He did some TV episodes here and there. No big features that I can see.
Well, I thought he did
before
a great job.
But no, it's real solid.
Yeah. What do we
up next was Abracadabra, which I remember in the comic being really scary to me. And I don't even remember if I feel like they did a similar story in both Creepy Magazine and Tales from the Crypt, where it was somebody basically being autopsied alive.
Right.
Chilling. But I'm gonna give it over to Jason, our expert of the evening, to give us as much knowledge, because I'm just gonna say you're just gonna have to correct half the shit I say otherwise,
because we don't remember.
Well, I'll put it this way: I know these episodes well enough that I wasn't expecting to have to rewatch them. I wasn't expecting to synopsize to remember that well detailed, but it's fine.
We can do it. We got this. Don't even worry about it. What's the basics, and then my brain will fill it back in.
No, I can get through it. So this is actually directed by Stephen Hopkins. I did a great interview with him for Dads in the Crypt. He directed Predator 2. Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Child, a lot of Ghost in the Darkness, a lot of great stuff. And so basically you have two med students and with Beau Bridges and Tony Goodwin. And Tony Goodwin pulls a prank on Beau Bridges when they're in med school and gives him a heart attack, which gives him a disability. So he can't be he has to go into research and not proper be a practicing doctor. Fast forward a couple years later, and then Beau Bridges decides to do an experiment on Tony Goodwin with some serum that makes you incapacitated. Or at least it kills you, but makes you think you're still alive. And then he decides to make him, string him up, and they're going to do an autopsy and everything. But in the end, turns out it was all just a joke.
Right.
And what's the ending? I think.
He goes to get revenge on Tony Goldwyn because for the prank, and instead he goes, and that's part is what really kills me is when he goes to the this like motorized drawer that opens up in the lab that has like a fog machine and all this voodoo accoutrement stuff in there, and like and that's where he's getting the serum. So he does a flipsy flopsy on Tony Goldwyn and is like, now you're dead. How do you like being dead? And he ends up.
What's that?
Sorry, I got a high blood sugar reading there.
Okay. Freddy.
So
he's fine.
So it's all the sweetness of this episode's too sweet.
Aww.
It's too sweet. So I love that at this point you get all the first person. What Tony Goldwyn is seeing is he's being autopsied by Tom Wright from Creepshow 2, who was the hitchhiker, who's the thanks for the ride lady, who haunts her, but he's wearing dreadlocks, so you might not recognize him, but I love that actor. So he is performing the autopsy when they reveal, and he was Tuvix. He was also Tuvix on Star Trek Voyager, Amy.
Dude, I can't. I don't want to talk about Tuvix. It's too much.
Did you watch that at all, Jason?
Are you a Voyager person, a Star Trek person?
I think I dropped out of Star Trek by that point.
Janeway killed this being that should not have existed, but it was sad anyway.
Was it a teleporter accident?
It was a teleporter accident, and two characters merged into one, and then one was like, but I exist now, and I want to continue existing, and she's like, but you can't, because I need my friends back.
You gotta separate
and he's
them.
like, this is mean, and she's like, I gotta do it, and it made me cry.
Like, teleporters are terrifying. Like, when you think about that, like, again, not even considering like the fly, but just like the whole concept of being replicated, and like, is that your soul
being dissolved and then put back together?
It's deep.
Yeah.
Man.
It's truly scary.
What if they missed one little tiny little atom?
So Tuvix is cutting Tony Goldwyn open.
So Tuvix is cutting the president from Scandal open. Okay.
And I forgot about that.
And the asshole from Ghost.
Ghost,
yes. I love that guy.
He's so great.
I do love him.
So they reveal it's the prank and that he really did take the job that he got for him and all this stuff. But by then, I can't remember why Tony Goldwyn does die, right? And then he really does wake up in the autopsy.
Yeah.
And the
it's a little confusing, but it's a fun ride. It's a really fun ride.
This one, it didn't stick with me as much. Love the two actors, but it wasn't like, I don't know why people, it's just me. I'm just, I'm different.
This one gave me anxiety.
Yeah. Like the first time you watch it, it's a very visceral experience, but once you know the twist, the second time doesn't work as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's less shocking, of course. Like, but it also, it's just this idea of who wants to. That's a lot for a teenager. It's thrilling and exciting. For us older people, we're like, I don't want to.
I'm closer to the grave than I've ever been. Now,
like I take enough pills and things. I don't want to think about what they're all doing.
Freddie's friggin' high blood sugar issues.
The metformin, man, it gets to you.
Yeah. They'll do it.
The idea of being so we were just watching The Autopsy of Jane Doe. We were just watching that before this because we were doing like a 31 for 31, and tonight was that movie. And the dead body in the beginning that has the bell on its ankle, and they were saying, like, because how do you sometimes people weren't all the way dead yet. It's just buried alive, being cut open alive, all of that alive shit. No, thank you.
It's creepy shit.
So that's all.
Yeah.
Isn't that what we're supposed to be reckoning with by watching all this stuff anyway?
Well, yeah,
it gets a little too close
to
catharsis.
Mortality.
Yeah.
But
this next one, Yellow. Now, this is a special case, right? This is where we hit the special case, and it is a great episode.
Yes.
This is a very special episode.
Not only because Lance Henriksen's back.
That's my boy.
Mm-hmm.
Also, again, chewing scenery, but in a different way. And getting matched all around by some of the Sheen family, the Estevez Sheens.
Which ones?
I'm gonna give it over to my friend Justin.
Oh, you mean Douglas?
Or Douglas is what I meant. Oh, wrong
like,
Hollywood family. Wrong
Sheen.
Hollywood. I meant Douglas's. Douglas. Is it Douglas?
Yeah, no.
It's Douglas.
Yeah. Okay. So this again, they were trying to get Robert Zemeckis. He was like their heavy hitter for a lot of these.
Right.
And this was what season was this? Season 3. So they said you can do the finale for season 3. Do whatever you can, choose whatever you want. You're not going to say no to Robert Zemeckis. So again, most of these episodes are 20 minutes. He's like, I'm going to do a 37-minute war movie, basically.
The balls on that man. He was like, listen.
and like they're like, okay, yeah, sure. So so again, within the EC comic realm, there's a lot of different comics they had, and some of them were war comics or just those manly men comics. So they kind of pulled from that one, and we have this episode where they got again Robert Zemeckis directing. You've got Lance Henriksen, you got Dan Aykroyd.
I mean, it's
stacked, and then they're like, well, it's basically a father-son war story. Mm-hmm. So they're like, okay, we can get Kirk Douglas was their like go-to. And who better to play a son than his real life son, Eric Douglas, who was having a lot of issues with substance abuse and, other personal issues.
Thank you for telling me that because I was about to say something.
Yeah. So.
I said it anyway, but go on.
Yeah. So basically, but it was like almost like a therapy on film.
Yeah.
When you really think about it. So we have a story of a man played by Eric Douglas, who is kind of a chicken, but like
he's yellow.
In the face of a horrific war, can you really blame him?
Sensitive, yes.
Yeah, he's a little sensitive, but like justifiably so. Yeah. And his father is the general, and he keeps putting in these situations to try to show his bravery. But then again, he's like, well, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be fighting, and I don't want to be put in these situations you keep putting me in.
Sir, you're using the wrong tool. Exactly. I am not it.
So but the father's trying to make a man out of his son and show all of his other men that
toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity, exactly.
Not allowing boys to be who they are.
Well, so basically, he sends him on a really dangerous mission to go fix a line in the middle of the night that was broken to cut off the radio. So he takes Lance Henriksen and a couple other people, and they tell him, just be on the lookout. You don't have to actually go anywhere. Just tell us that the Germans are coming. And of course, when the Germans do come, he gets too scared to give away his own position, and his men supposedly get killed. So he runs back to his father and says, it was an ambush. I couldn't have saved them. They're all dead. But then, of course, Lance Henriksen shows up with his guts literally in his hand.
He's got his helmet holding him in.
To tell everyone that, Eric Douglas let them down and that he's yellow, and then dies rather dramatically.
It's great. It's a great over the top.
I hate guts out of the body when the people are alive moments. Oh,
yeah, it's gross.
That was a good one though.
And then basically they have a very impromptu court-martial of dereliction of duty against Eric Douglas, and they sentence him to death the next morning. Like, this is the fastest trial I think ever. Fastest capital punishment trial. And then in the middle of the night, the father, Eric, goes to see his son, Kirk Douglas goes to see his son, Eric Douglas, in prison, and says, I wouldn't kill my only son. I'm the one who loads the guns for the shooting brigade. I'm going to put them all in blanks. All you have to do is just go out there, take it like a man, fall into the ravine. I'm going to put a package there. And you can just, escape. And, because we're moving on to another location. So he's like, okay, great. I can deal with that. And then we get the super tense scene with like a drum line and they're printing him out. And Eric Douglas's character goes on and gives a great speech about how he just couldn't live up to be the man his father wanted him to be, and yada, 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 yada.
Yeah.
And then right before they shoot him, he's looking his father in the eye, and his father grimaces and looks away. He has that moment of realization that his father lied to him, and gets blown literally out of his shoes into the ravine.
That was
and then
so
Dan Aykroyd walks up to Kirk Douglas and says, well, he certainly died like a man. And then he says, my son isn't yellow.
Cold,
I saw this. I was in middle school when I saw this. This is one of the most. This is my favorite Crypt episode. It's not like the most Crypt, like stereotypical Crypt episode, but it has the Crypt ethos. And the acting, the cinematography, like it starts off with a big war scene. Like, again, this is TV. You don't see this kind of thing in TV. And it's just the scope of it is so big. The acting is so great. And then again, having that real life father-son, the father thinking he's helping his son, trying to do what he thinks is best, but really it's not. Like you can feel that between the two. That is
super
actors.
Deep. That I didn't know until you told me about the state of their relationship at the time, and that makes it really play on a whole deeper level.
I feel like they would have to have a therapist on set just in case.
Oh, I'm sure not.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what
I'm talking about Hollywood.
Like,
this was their therapy. This is probably the close. This might have been the closest they ever came to going to therapy.
Wow.
I mean, again, you're Eric Douglas. Your father's Kirk Douglas. Your other brother's Michael Douglas. Like, I don't blame him for having some issues.
That would be hard. If I had seen this when I was a child like that, I'd be like, oh, parents can kill kids? And then I would have been messed up earlier than I was. That came later.
I didn't know all the background when I first saw it when I was a kid, until many years later. But like it just even watching it, like you said, it just comes through because it's just so well done. Was
this the only Dan Aykroyd appearance in Tales from the Crypt, or was he on any other?
I don't think so.
Feels like he should have been like part of the team.
He was in Tales from Twilight Zone the movie. He was in that opener.
Right, okay.
He's in the car. That freaked me out too when I was a kid.
Me too.
Does that mean he picked his side?
Well, he also was in Nothing But Trouble. We were just talking about that.
Oh, I fucking hate that movie. That movie.
Trying to convince a friend to watch it. Listen, it's not great.
No, it's not.
It's barely a movie.
Don't tell Kelley that.
Don't tell Kelley.
I think he might like it.
It does have Tupac in it.
It's got Tupac.
Oh my God, that's right.
It's got Demi Moore. It's got Digital Underground.
It feels like a lost Tales from the Crypt episode, to be honest, to me.
Later season.
Like one of the weirder ones, It's got that vibe. The makeup's got that vibe.
It's got vibes.
It does have vibes. I'm not saying it's great. But I'm saying it's
I haven't seen that movie in like over 20 years, so like I'm almost to the point where I'm willing to try it, like maybe like as a live Patreon thing, just to be able to see me like squirm and get pissed at it.
Yeah, or like
I probably haven't seen it in 20 years either.
Remember
oh my gosh.
We did Death Becomes Her was supposed to be like a Tales from the Crypt episode.
Yeah, that was supposed to be one definitely, and like the Frighteners and
Love the Frighteners
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, they feel like Tales from the Crypt episodes.
We got more?
Yeah.
We
do.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
What's Cooking? Ironically starring Meatloaf.
Yeah. Okay, I've got a great meatloaf story. You're gonna love this.
Oh yeah.
Do you put ketchup on
so what's cooking? This was actually directed by Gil Adler, who was one of the longtime producers of the show, who I've gotten to know recently. So that's why I know a lot of these great stories.
Cool.
Basically, we got Christopher Reeves. He is the owner of a restaurant and his big idea is everything squid. Squid burgers, squid fries, squid shakes.
Like, don't do it. And he's like, you're crazy.
I'm going to crack the code.
It's going to be great.
And he's Christopher Reeves. He's super charming, so you believe him.
Mm-hmm. And then we have kind of a drifter come into town played by Judd Nelson, who gets like a job, in the back. And he tells them he's got a great way to get meat. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Turns out he's killing other drifters and making steaks and burgers out of them. And people start loving it.
Yeah.
You can't get enough.
Like you do. Why is that always the cannibal story in these sorts of... Hey, that's really good. Remember when they thought they were eating human meat on It's Always Sunny? Yeah. And it was the greatest meat they'd ever had and they were losing their minds over it? I think it was raccoon, but...
Do you remember that London broil that we had for dinner last night?
Freddy.
So eventually...
Sorry.
Yeah, so then Christopher Reeves' character kind of gets pulled into it all, and then he's got the hot wife who gets the hot for Judd Nelson's character, and they kind of try to run off with it, but then they kind of pull a fast one on Judd Nelson's character, and yada yada yada. But there is a subplot where there's I think it's the whatchamacallit, the landlord played by Meatloaf,
Chumley,
who's kind of trying to extort them or whatever, and they end up killing him. Now. And then there's a scene where they show his body hung up in the freezer and they're cutting steaks off of him.
So awesome and gross.
Okay, here's one of the best stories you'll ever hear.
Okay.
They're trying to get stars and people to do these little bits and stuff. So they're like, Meatloaf wants to be on the show. Great. I've got a great thing for him. We're going to have a scene where he's nude hanging in a locker, but we'll build a body cast. It's fine. So they probably know what Meatloaf looks like, right? Everyone kind of knows what Meatloaf looks like. So they get someone that looks approximately like that. They do a body cast. Meatloaf shows up as a rather slender man.
Oh.
Turns out he went on a crash diet for the last month or two.
What a bitch.
So Meatloaf, they have to tell Meatloaf, who just lost all this weight and he's really proud of it and everything.
Freddy's phone keeps beeping. It's fine. He can't seem to turn it off.
I'm sorry about that.
That's fine. So they have to tell him, we already made this body cast. We can't change it. So can we just put you in a fat suit?
They put him in I was going to say he wasn't slim in the show. Oh my God, he's wearing a fat suit.
So he was really offended.
Oh my
but he already committed to do it, so he just went with it, but he was really pissed at them.
We're like, but you see, dead you is fat.
Yeah, exactly. How funny would that be if they had skinny Meatloaf and then they showed the fat body for one scene?
He's like, well, most of the meat's missing from this feller anyway.
And the other thing that he was mad at was that, they figured he's dead. He's, it's cold. He's naked, so they're not going to give him much to show off down there.
Sir.
So he was mad that they gave him a small junk.
Your dick is going to be hiding. Let's be real.
He's like, let's chop it off and serve it. Problem solved.
So he was like, this is the most undignified thing. Not only do you make my dick small, you made me fat after I got skinny.
Actually, when you put it all together, I do kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah, no, I feel really bad for the guy. It's not, this is pre-internet. It's not like he's posting his progress on Instagram so they can follow.
True.
It was
adorable though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Meatloaf.
But this is another, fan favorite episode. Everyone loves. Christopher Reeves is just so good. We don't see him play this kind of, again, he starts nice and sweet, but then he kind of turns a little villainous at the end. So you don't usually see that.
No.
For him. So it was kind of a nice stretch.
He also had a real particular style of acting that was like a blend of old Hollywood and kind of the new style of acting, and it was almost strange. I think had he been given more runway with his career, he probably would have emerged as somebody like a Christopher Walken type, playing probably pretty strange characters.
If he allowed himself to go there, I could see that.
Yeah, he had it in it.
Kind of depends on where he wanted to go.
All right.
Yeah, I think so.
So many RIPs.
It's so true.
Yeah. And that's the hard thing about watching a show. It's like over 30 years old. Is like this person's gone, this person's gone, this person's gone.
I just started watching the Rockford Files, so it's like just a lot of that.
She started watching the obituaries.
I do. I go look.
The Santa Monica obituary section is what she's watching.
God.
All right.
The New Arrival was up next.
Oh, okay.
This one didn't do it for me.
I think this was really eerie.
This is in my opinion, the scariest episode. Okay. When I watched this when I was a kid, I was so scared. I slept with the lights on. Aww. I would not turn off my lights. I was so freaked out by this episode. And by kid, I mean, I must have been like 11, 12, maybe 13. That's maybe bar mitzvah by that time.
Technically a man.
Was this one... I might have fallen asleep a little bit near the end.
You didn't watch it again, though.
No.
It's spooky.
Rewatch this.
Okay, I will. I promise.
And again, this is Peter Medak, who directed The Changeling.
Oh, the George C. Scott movie?
George C. Scott. And I think he did Species. I think he did Species 2. I don't know if he did the original. I'll have to look at that.
Okay.
I think he only did Species 2. But yeah, no, this is a really good director. So basically, and we have not Robert Wagner, David Warner, who again is a very, distinguished, well-known actor of Waxworks, etc. And he is a kind of Frasier type radio psychologist, and he has this woman who keeps calling him about his disturbed daughter, and he finally decides that his ratings are down. He's going to go do an in-person visit. And there's a great little scene at the beginning with the guy from Robert Patrick from Terminator 2.
Oh shit! He was such a terrible, dumb douchebag character, but I love him.
Exactly. I just love that random bit.
Yeah.
And then he goes with his producer, Joan Severance, and I can't remember if they're both producers, but the other one, Twiggy.
Yeah, Twiggy.
British socialite. And Zola Rubinstein is the mother. Who everyone loves. She's just so sweet.
She's the best.
And basically, they walk through the house. She's telling about all the issues she's having with her daughter. And I guess everyone gets separated. And then it turns out the house is kind of like a saw house, like a John Kramer saw house. And there's like traps and stuff. So
I definitely fell asleep during this. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Rewatch this one. Joan Severance and Twiggy get killed off basically, and they're just figuring out there's something really fucked up going on. And like at one point they don't think there's actually a daughter. They think it's all in Zola Rubinstein's head. Mm-hmm. Turns out there is a daughter who had died like 50 years or something like that. But the love of her mother has kept her alive. And now she's like this kind of ghoul kind of character.
Has that mask like in Eyes Without a Face?
Yeah, so she's wearing like a mask, kind of running around. I think it's a little girl, but no, it's like a skull sunken in face. It's so fucking creepy. And what they've been doing is they've been entrapping famous child psychologists to come and help them and like kidnapping them. So at the very
there's a
end
steady
of the
supply
episode,
of those.
Yeah, exactly. So at the very end of the episode, you have David Warner like kidnapped, tied to a chair with this ghoul, and he's just like trying to like his phrase is to ignore it again.
Oh yeah,
lots of toxic therapy there.
Yeah.
And he just keeps telling himself ignore it. Something about the futility in that situation is really nihilistic and like freaked me out as a kid.
I get that. That was the end of Return of the Living Dead for me with the nuke.
Yeah, exactly.
That same vibe of this total helplessness.
Mm-hmm. What's cool is the daughter is played by a woman named Laura Dash, who is a famous stunt actress. She was kind of a little person, but she was in like Jurassic Park and the Goonies, like doing the stunts for the kids. She was Daniel Harris, the stunt double in the Halloween movies. So if you look up, there's some really fun pictures of her like in the same costume as all these other actors. I talked to her on my podcast. Really sweet woman.
That's awesome.
But yeah, this is to me, I think, largely considered the scariest of the episodes. So I recommend you try rewatching it.
Okay. You know what? Sometimes I just like to pretend maybe.
Alone.
I'll just fall asleep again. As I'm old. Sometimes I'm like, this didn't do it for me. And then I start thinking, that's because you didn't really see it all. Okay. I'm a dummy. I'll keep my mouth shut. I will go back.
You ever wanted to watch Ed Begley Jr. have sex?
I never did. I really never did.
Well, guess
with
what?
Tim Curry and drag.
Yeah.
But then when you put that layer on it, I didn't want the first sex scene because I was like,
wanted the
stop
drag
it,
sex
Ed Begley Jr., stop it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we're talking about Death of Some Salesman, and again,
This is the first time I've
another-
seen this one.
Oh, first time. Oh man,
I loved it. Yeah.
it's so good. So again, we have Gil Adler, the same person who did What's Cooking, directing this one, and we have Ed Begley Jr. I can't say that straight.
A lot.
As a traveling insurance salesman / fraud con man who's like selling fake insurance. That's his like whole thing.
Like fake like burial plots and like funeral shit, which is just mean the closer I get to that age. Oh, is Ed Begley Jr. you think related to Robert Downey Jr.?
No, but he is the Morton Downey Jr.
Oh,
Ironically.
that's really weird.
There you go. I mean, like that's even more fucked up because like you won't realize it until you're dead.
Yeah.
Your family's dead, so you're already like sad, distraught enough. Then you realize, no, that fucker.
Like what do you do?
He's a real dirtbag.
It's awful. He gets everything that he deserves, so that's fine.
Right. So he goes to this one house that's inhabited by this kind of fugly family with a mom,
Currys.
pa, and a daughter. But they're all three of them are played by Tim Curry in like a shit ton of makeup.
Eddie Murphy could never.
Well, they wanted Eddie Murphy originally, is what the trivia on IMDb says. Is that? Do you know if that's true?
Well, no. According to Gil, that's not. There's never. That's never a thing.
That's just a
I think
rumor.
people just assume that that's the kind of person you would go to.
Yeah.
So basically, they say that in order, I can't remember the sequence of things, but they basically at gunpoint say that we don't like salesmen,
Right.
but we are looking for a son for a husband for our daughter.
Right.
So if she likes you, we'll let you live. We'll let you into the family, and
he's like, we've got
you.
money. It's gonna be great if my daughter likes you.
This is part. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, but as a con man, he's like, oh yeah, sure, your daughter's beautiful, but they're like, well, your vote, you can say that, but the body doesn't lie. You have to prove. You have to prove yourself.
You got to get it up for her. And boy, howdy, does he do it.
Yeah, so they go upstairs and
and then you get to see Tim Curry
Up close and personal.
dry humping.
go cowgirl on old Ed Begley Jr., which thank you, Tales from the Crypt. Something I never thought I needed, and I don't.
A Clue reunion
Aw.
in bed.
Oh,
We could have hoped for Madeline Kahn.
that would be nice. So fun story about Tim Curry. So he was the number one person they wanted for this, but because of the timing, Tim Curry couldn't do it. There's a festival in Brazil, I forget what it's called, that Tim Curry goes to every year, and it happened to be the same week that they were filming. Again, that this is the type machine; they can't change the schedule at all. So Gil says, "Well, let me just have lunch with Tim. I won't bring up the episode. I won't try to convince him. I just want to meet the guy." So they have lunch and everything. And also Tim Curry had done Legend, which needed a ton of makeup, and he just didn't want to do any more makeup roles. And this, was going to need him to do 3 different characters of makeup.
So he turned out to be a
again,
liar.
using that cool like split screen effects and stuff.
Yeah.
All that trickery to make it work. So they have lunch, and Gil doesn't bring it up at all. And eventually towards the end, Tim's like, well, just tell me about the episode. Just tell me. I'm just curious. Just tell me. I'm not going to do it. Just tell me. So he explains the whole thing to him, and he says, you know what? This role scares me, playing these 3 people, doing all that makeup. And because of that, I think I want to do it. I want to do the challenge.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You're a cool dude.
I have so much affection for Tim Curry. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I met him at Monsterpalooza. This like 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, it was like being like the presence of,
I might cry a little.
dignitary. It was amazing.
He is such a. I watched Rocky Horror way too young.
Oh yeah.
It way too young. All this stuff way too young. But he's just like core memory shit. And I know he's had that stroke, and I just would want to hug him real hard.
But yeah, no, I got choked. I got choked up a little bit. It was an experience.
Yeah.
But so fucking funny in this.
This is such a funny, and of course it all turns out they're playing a con on Ed Begley's character, and they they end up killing him in the end, yada yada yada. But this is why they consider one of the best, like easily top 3 episodes, if not the best. like among horror fans, among Tales from the Crypt fans.
Well, you have, your icon in Tim Curry and just the outrageousness of
the performance, the makeup,
performances. It's so broad and big.
It feels like an extension of it.
Yeah, you think there's a little Pennywise in there?
Yeah, it feels like these are variations on Pennywise to me.
Bob Gray's cousins.
What year is Pennywise? What year was it? Was that 91 or 92?
Somewhere around there.
The miniseries 90, I think.
Okay, yeah. So this is just a little bit after, but
yeah. So I like that. I like that the consistency of, again, it's a trope other things use, but like we literally back to back talked about like the home is a trap. Like that's something that happens, not necessarily a haunted house, but a trap. It's a trap. And that happens throughout here. And I assume that's always a callback, really, kind of to Texas Chainsaw, maybe that idea that the home's a trap,
or haunted houses. I mean, again, you're pulling off of like tropes from the 40s and 50s, so there's a lot of probably dilapidated places, in some parts of town, and also I think it's pulling from, again, the traveling salesman, which is kind of a lost thing now.
Yeah,
but of the con man, traveling salesman, And there's a great sequence where he's like running around and he sees all the past traveling salesmen that were like, there's like a vacuum cleaner salesman that was like a vacuum tube shoved down his throat. Guy shoved in the refrigerator.
Wasn't that the reveal? Was it the microwave had a head in it?
Microwave.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was like the reveal. He's like, it doesn't microwave for shit. I don't remember exactly what he said.
Yeah.
But it's so funny how similar that third act is to the third act of the New Arrival, where in my mind I had these two episodes had kind of crossed over somewhat in my memory, and I think part of it is the reveal of we have this daughter character and we've set a trap for men,
and you ain't the first to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought of it, but this one's playing it more for laughs, like ridiculousness, where the other one's playing it as like straight terror.
Yeah, and it's variations. It's like variations on a theme, which is why people will bitch about that, which always confounds me, especially horror fans, because to me, horror is telling the same story over and over again. That's the fun of it. So like, it's all about the variations. It's not about the fact that it's ABC, because it is the same story over and over again, but it's how you do it, how you tell it. And Tales from the Crypt tells them like crazy.
Yeah, well, that's what they say is like every story, there's only two types of stories: stranger comes to town or man goes on adventure. Right. So that's pretty much those are only two stories that exist. Everything else is a variation.
And one results in the other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you either come to town, you're the person leaving town, or you're the person coming back to town.
And then, so the final one on this list, the last one to air of the top 10 was Forever Ambergris.
What was that one again? Ambergris.
This is probably one of the gooeyest episodes.
Yeah, definitely one of the grosser ones. It's Steve Buscemi.
Oh.
And Roger Daltrey, from Sliders.
That one episode of Sliders.
Wait,
Sliders
who?
is Roger Daltrey from The Who. Oh, I see what you did. God damn it. All right, I'm kicking him out. You got me. Seriously, there's been a lot of Sliders in my life lately. Just randomly. I want everybody to know that. It's weird. Go on.
It is weird.
White Castle's Jerry O'Connell on Tom Sandoval from Random Pump Rules podcast, and they talked about Sliders. No, I gotta stop.
So
yes,
this story
they're like wartime photographers, but they're like secretly a little bit competitive. Well, no, Steve Buscemi is secretly competitive,
and they're like the rock star post-Vietnam War photographers. They're like what we think like the Dennis Hopper character from Apocalypse Now would be like when he came down off of his high and came home.
Yeah.
And then he became like one of the guys that works for Rolling Stone or something. They're like, dude. They're like the guys who look at their photos and are like, dude. And they're that kind of photographer.
The dude ones.
Yeah.
Where's he going? South America? Central America? Somewhere like that.
Cambodia?
Roger Daltrey's like, I'm heading here because I've got a tip.
Central America.
he has a tip, but then Steve Buscemi convinces him to let him come along, right?
Yeah, it's a little confusing because it's like Buscemi's character seems to look up to Roger Daltrey's character as some sort of mentor, and he brings him home to meet his wife.
But he comes off a little shifty. Buscemi comes off a little shifty.
He does. He comes off as if he is kind of setting something up.
Is he baiting with his wife?
It was weird. It was a little weird.
You know what I mean?
Maybe they're looking for a third.
That's the vibe I got too. But then the weird
There's
part
way
is,
too many candles sitting around.
yes,
right?
way too many. But there's all these moments like where he really encourages them dancing together, and it's the weird part about it. And it could just be maybe that Roger Daltrey's not a really super great actor, but like it never seemed like he was interested in her at all. Like from his body language, his face, only the dialogue ever suggested he had any interest at all in the wife.
I think he's meant to. It's just age. He's just not that good.
He just couldn't do it. Yeah.
Just,
Which kind of hurt
That's
this
fine.
one a little bit.
Great rock star.
But the goo makes up for it in a big way.
The goo, yeah. This is Todd Masters like at his best.
It's so great.
Remind me what the goo.
The goo. Well, he's exposed. They end up fighting over this opportunity to film an outbreak.
Yes.
In the next village.
Yes.
And
okay, I remember the goo now.
at first, Roger Daltrey's like, you're too green and you're greedy and you're trying to take my shot from me. This is my shot. And Buscemi's like, whoa, man. No
Sing
big deal.
Hamilton. You don't need to start singing.
And then had Roger Daltrey had acted somehow in this next scene, you would maybe understand that he felt, I don't know, something changed his mind about sending him, Steve Buscemi, to this part of the shoot.
I think he knew it was dangerous, and he's like, I can get this dude to go do it, right?
But
He's like, I won't be fooled again.
I was trying to do a little bit of it. I think he was like, you go do it, and I'll just take your pictures when you come back.
Yeah, that's kind of what it sounded
Or
like.
was he doing reverse psychology? I don't know.
It was weird because they had the whole fight, and there's nothing in the performance to suggest the fight was staged to somehow reverse psychology Buscemi into wanting to go or not. I guess it's neither here nor there, but it's my one criticism of the episode is that was a little unclear. But when they get the ball rolling, when
They got
he
20
returns,
minutes. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. They do spend the bulk of the episode giving you a melting
Gore.
Steve Buscemi, followed by more
eyes
melts.
falling out. Yeah.
Yes, it's so great.
Gnarly.
And the twist is the wife becomes savvy to what's going on and lures Roger Daltrey, who has, again, we
Gotta
don't...
get your comeuppance.
The zero chemistry there.
Well.
And she gives him a comeuppance via some sexual contact, and she also put inside the weed they were smoking just prior to bits of Steve Buscemi, I believe.
Something like that. I don't quite understand how that worked out, but
Yeah,
You have my permission to smoke me.
no, thank
Roll
you.
me up
I
a
was gonna
joint.
say, if someone offered me a joint of Steve Buscemi, I'm like, I'd hit that.
Yeah,
I'd want to try it.
There's certain people I don't want, to smoke a George Washington joint. He's a great man. But like Steve Buscemi joint, fuck yeah.
It's gotta have it's gotta be like Trees Lounge up in there.
What?
Once you hit that, those little trees, those Steve Buscemi trees, and it transports you to his film Trees Lounge.
Oh.
Does nobody remember Trees Lounge?
No.
I love Steve Buscemi enough to know he directed a movie called Trees Lounge.
Okay, say it again.
That I like enough to say one more time. If you haven't seen Trees Lounge, check it out. It's pretty good. Probably hasn't aged great, but it was good when it came out.
Yeah, so Roger Daltrey is he's boned now too.
Totally boned. So
Literally and figuratively. But yes, melting Steve Buscemi was awesome.
I have to ask now, I know Jason's favorite, your favorite of the entire series is Yellow, right?
Yes.
Now, and cause when I was on your show, I said my absolute favorite is Fitting Punishment, which was not on the top 10 list, which made me question, like, how is it not on there? But that's the one where the guy runs the funeral parlor and his nephew comes to live with him.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he ends up sawing his legs
That's
off.
give you chills one.
That's a great episode. It did
That's a
not
great
make the top
episode.
10.
Yeah.
IMDb is racist.
So, Amy, what's your favorite?
I mean, let's be real.
It could be.
Think about it.
I mean, the evidence. There's the little bit of evidence we have. But what was
But
your?
not
disagreeing.
Do you have a favorite of the series that stands out to you?
Yeah, it's going to be the William Sadler, the man. What is it?
The Man Who Was Death.
The Man Who Was Death.
Yeah.
I love him, and he's so creepy in that. He is peak him in that.
Yeah, that's a great episode. And also in real life, such a nice guy.
I would love to meet him.
I've zoomed with him. We have a couple of interviews. We did a live thing where he like plays. He has songs that he writes, like kind of like old timey, a little folksy. Yeah,
Oh, that's
a little
cool.
bluesy.
I would love to hear that.
Very nice guy.
Yeah, I think did he end up doing Horror Hound? Here's the funny thing.
I think so.
We'll share space, like the space at Horror Hound, with all these celebrities who we really love, their work and everything, but we'll never see them.
We're working. They're working.
We'll just
I don't
be
know they're
crossing.
there.
I'll see them maybe in the bathroom is the one time I see people where I'm like, and I can be like, that is great what you did. I don't mean this right here. I mean that thing you did for HBO.
Like that's a great stream you got there.
What streaming service?
Well, you did, have a nice fart conversation with the
Charlie Cyphers.
Charlie Cyphers.
I did. That's
so
hilarious.
There
Though.
you had that.
But Sadler, I'm sad, that I did not take the time to go talk to him now.
Probably even when he was at a Horror Hound, I was not the Trekkie that I am now, and I would have to talk to him about his Section 31 character on DS9.
Mm-hmm.
He's the president in the Marvel universe too, right?
And he's the president.
Yeah.
And he was the Demon Knight.
Yeah.
And he was a mummy, and he was death. He's all over.
Death. He's just
Death's
one of my
favorite.
favorite character actors, and that one is it's heartbreaking because I don't feel good about the death penalty. So there's just a lot that's wrapped up in that one for me.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Jason, was there one that you feel like should have been on this list that wasn't?
Let me see. I mean, I feel comfortable with this list. I don't love Forever Ambergris a ton. So actually on my list, I had Fitting Punishment at 9. I did not have Forever Ambergris in my top 10.
You and me would have switched the same one out probably.
Yeah.
That's
Most likely.
probably just so highly rated because of the melting.
The melting is a good argument to keep it.
But
Yeah, no, the effect is great. I just don't think it's the best. Best episode, but yeah, it's IMDb. What are you gonna do?
That's right.
it's not our top people.
Yeah. So speaking of William Sadler, though, there's a remake of Salem's Lot that they've been holding back for like at least a year or two now. That Sadler's in.
Hearing about it.
And for whatever reason, it hasn't come out yet, but he's in it. That's all.
That's
That's all
awesome.
he'll tell me.
It's my favorite book. I've read it.
Oh, really?
I've read it probably 5 or 6 times. I love it so much.
Read the cover off of our.
I mean,
Yeah, the
for how
cover
big
fell
that book is, I'm surprised you haven't read any other books.
Yeah. It's all I take time for.
It's true.
I just read the same one over and over again.
It's kind of true.
Kind of like a kid. It would be where the sidewalk
And we just
ends.
watch the same episodes of Tales from the Crypt over and over and over
Yeah.
and over and over again. And it's comfort food TV, and I think that would make a great go to sleep show. I love it.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about any of the Crypt Keeper segments, but they're all just so goddamn fun.
I mean,
Really,
there's
really great.
even if the pun is horrendous and they are reaching so hard that their arm has disconnected from their body.
It became their thing.
It became their thing, and he sells it so hard with the voice.
Solar Opposites
It's fine.
appearance is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. What's cool though, like it's not just it's a whole crew that came together for that because it's not just the writing, it's not just Cassier's performance. It's like takes 6 puppeteers to get it all to work together.
Get him
But
dressed.
they got so good at it that they could do like live appearances, and Cassier could ad lib, but the crew could like make the mouth move in time with him saying it. Like they could just match it just
That's
by
so
knowing.
cool.
Wow.
They just all worked so because he did like the horror awards
Yeah.
for I forget who, but for whoever, like MTV or something like that, and they could just have him like ad lib or whatever, and they could like get the mouth to move at least close enough, like work together
Right.
to
That's
make it
really
look
cool.
realistic.
That's
like being in a
find
band.
that on YouTube.
Did they was it always the same? Do you know if it was always the same actor who was the hands?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Because there's very specific things the Crypt Keeper does with his hands, and you notice it when you're when you're binging them, like, you know, when you're watching one every single night, you're like, oh, I recognize this special, just very specific things. He moves hands like a politician sometimes. Yeah,
I don't know. That's a good. I can ask, but that's a good question. I
love that, and I love that his mouth moved when he operated his ventriloquist dummy. That's like a lot of people wouldn't think to do that. They're like, you have a puppet operating a puppet.
Keeper is operating, but they're both their lips are moving because he's not a good ventriloquist.
Yeah, that's a brilliant choice.
And then if you notice, like in the first season, and definitely in the first season, he's talking much slower and a little deeper, and that's mostly because they didn't have the time and the money to get the servos to move quick enough.
That's interesting.
To like get the speed that they really want to do, but so you have to you can only talk as fast as the puppet would move.
Oh my god,
that's cool.
And then I think throughout the second season, and then from then on, especially they upgraded everything. Each season, you can notice little upgrades.
Yeah,
that they do to the puppet.
It's like T800 level.
They're doing more around him, bigger set stuff.
If Skynet's real,
yeah, it is.
Won't we inevitably? And they just start an army of every available animatronic out there. The Crypt Keeper is going to come to your house.
Holy shit.
So it's going to be the Hall of Presidents taking over.
Yeah.
Have you heard about the new AI audio animatronics that Disney's developing that can follow and converse with you? Like you're a person.
Oh boy.
I don't like it.
No.
It's only okay when they're Crypt Keeper sized.
But the first they had the changeover in producers from the second season to the third season. That's where Al Katz and Gil Adler came in, and because it was losing money, so they kind of made it a little more streamlined and kind of tightened things up. But one of the things that came in was when they came in, they said we want to make the Crypt Keeper the face of the show. He was becoming popular, but he was always in this crypt. He's always kind of doing his morbid little jokes. But they said, what does this guy do when he clocks out? What's his interest?
He's hanging with Spuds McKenzie.
Yeah, so and that's where they came up with all the gimmicks that kind of they brought that got bigger and bigger and bigger. There's one where he's an astronaut, one he's a farmer.
It's like Barbie.
Exactly. Yes.
There's many jobs, just like Barbie.
They should do a Crypt Keeper movie like they did the Barbie movie, and it's for monster kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I want a new Tales of the Crypt show, but I would love it a Crypt Keeper goes to Hollywood.
Just a Crypt Keeper live action. What's he been up to?
Oh, have you covered on Dads from the Crypt? Did you cover Tales from the Crypt Keeper, the animated show?
Not yet. Yeah, we only have so much time to cover so much. We'll do some. We'll do it in some form. I don't know how much there is to really chew on.
Right.
Not a lot.
To do whole reviews, but we'll do something on it.
Just the fact that it exists is very weird.
I know it's a whole, and there's a game show. There was going to be a video game at one point, but it got canceled.
That'd be cool.
Do you know what you did? What the game was? What? I can't. Imagine.
I know a little bit. It was supposed to be kind of. It was kind of like a story kind of thing where kind of. I'm thinking what to compare it to.
Like a Zork.
But it was a little bit more visual than that. But I was talking to Mike Vosberg, who did all the covers for each episode, and he actually did our Dads in the Crypt cover thing that we up there, and we have on our Instagram and everything. And he did work on it and stuff, and it was kind of I don't say choose your own adventure, but I think it was more like a visual, picture kind of thing. You click on the thing, and
that's. I would have played something like that. I still would, to be honest with you. If it was
I'm trying to think
there's got to be a pinball
maybe
machine,
what's
right?
not Commander King? What's that one from Sierra Games?
Like King's Quest and Police Quest.
King's Quest. And what's the other space one?
Oh, that was what was the space one? Space Quest, right?
Space Quest. Yeah, I'm thinking it was kind of more in that vein, where it's there was a picture and you just move the character kind of around.
Oh yeah,
maybe something kind of like that.
Were you an adulterer or were you a con artist? What kind of Tales from the Crypt character? If I made a Tales from the Crypt game, would it be a psychotic child with no face?
Yeah.
You could choose your different characters. That'd be fun. Zelda Rubinstein as herself.
What would I want to be? I'd want to be a diner owner who's just serving up meat all day.
Christopher Reeves, badass.
I want to be vain like the weather.
Oh yeah, what a great episode that is.
Leah Thompson's character. What was that episode?
Yeah.
Skin Deep. I think.
Be like
Skin Deep. Yeah, I was thinking that because
her.
that's pretty fun.
That is a fun one. She'd be a great one.
And that's another husband directing wife episode.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
Who's she married to?
I'm not sure if they were married at the time or they were about to. That's how they met. But yeah,
So
they're still married. Like Deutsch, I think, because she has her daughter who's an actor.
Zoe Deutsch.
I think it's Zoe Deutsch.
Yeah.
It's German to me.
Hey.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
We did it.
We did it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome.
It was fun.
Did you have fun? I hope you had fun.
Jason.
I had fun.
Did you have fun?
Anytime
I
we
had
talk
great
Crypt, it's
time.
fun.
Yeah.
But you're a dad too. Hence Dads from the Crypt, right?
Good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we, me and my other two co-hosts were 3 dads, and we give terrible parenting advice based on the episodes.
Yeah.
It's all we talk tons of other horror stuff, and we're rounding out the show. We have ideas of what we want to do next. We're not sure exactly what we're gonna do. People are like, "Oh, will you do the Friday 13th series?" I'm like, I don't know about that.
We just
With
watched
Roby?
That's a lot of content. That's not the best.
the cousins who might have sex with each other.
I think you would be
Roby and Ryan.
Yeah, there was a lot of sexual tension between those cousins, and that is one of the reasons it's worth revisiting.
Yeah.
There are a lot.
I'll visit it, but I don't want to live in it for 2
Don't
years.
live in it.
Yeah, that's a
we
lot.
did. We lived in
We
it.
Or
lived
like
in it.
for these nightmares.
Yeah.
we lived
did
in that too. We have to get the Poltergeist. We got to do that.
We have never done but we never did podcasts.
We never did a
about it.
podcast. We just watched them for fun at night.
Yeah.
We should do the Poltergeist.
Well, it's one thing. Yeah, it's one thing to just binge through a series. It's another to to do a podcast.
I
and,
don't. Yeah, I've never had to talk.
I go
about
deep
these
on these things, so I don't want to be in that headspace for.
Yeah. Be like this week. Freddy's not in this one.
Yeah.
A hotel's got like a pink neon sign, I think.
Yep.
Brad Pitt shows up for a minute.
Yeah.
For a second.
Those little moments are what make life worth living, though.
So where can people find you? I mean, obviously, all the usual places.
All the usuals. Our Twitter or X or what the fuck you want to call it is Crypt Dads because it's just automatically shortened to that, and I just liked it too much to change.
Sure.
But we have a really good Instagram. We post a lot of. So again, I've been working, talking to a lot with Mike Fosberg, who did all the covers. So he sent me like the concept art that he did for like the Tales from the Crypt opening, like the drawings.
Okay.
Oh, that's really cool.
That inspired us. So go to our Instagram to see all that. I mean, he did a lot of on-set photography, so we have a lot of like behind-the-scenes pictures and stuff. So I'm really proud of our Instagram.
Yeah.
But our show's on all the usual stuff: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the usual podcast suppliers.
Where you got this show is where you're gonna get his show.
We do have a Patreon, and we do like some fun polls. Like we do a weekly "Would You Rather" question that our Patreons can take part into, and then we are also doing the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror series on our Patreon.
that's
Those are
blast.
amazing, and there's so many of them.
I wish,
I
wish they could get dialed back into the magic they captured the first like 4 or 5 times they did that.
Yeah.
Special. Lightning in a bottle.
This yearly custom became an annual tradition.
Yeah.
And quality can go down.
It happened.
Right. So yeah. That's what's going on.
much
Thank you.
for
Thanks,
joining
Jason.
us. I hope you had fun. I hope everybody listening had fun. Thank you so much for listening.
You're wonderful.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jason.